How are you going to get to a goal you don't believe is there? How are you going to get to the goal if you don't believe there is a path? A man sees in the world what he carries in his heart. I feel like a lot of times we see exactly what we are in the world around us. In some ways, I think that we attract what we are. And that's not just to say, like, if you're a bad person, bad things will happen, like in a karmic sense. And it's in a sense that, how you feel about yourself is often proportional about how you feel about the world. I find that the more happy people get, or like the more sad people get, it's kind of like a positive feedback loop. You get happy, you find more things to be happy about, you stay happy. And then certain life events happen, certain things happen that kind of get us and sway us from that path, and we get into that negative loop where everything becomes negative. And what I'm saying is that choice needs to be made. You have to decide or realize, be conscious enough to realize when you're in those negative cycles. Like, even for myself, I have trouble with it all the time. I find myself getting negative at certain times. Certain stuff happens. Life happens. But as long as I like hold on to that mindset, that consciousness, that realization that I have control over the present moment, I'm able to live how I want to. It's kind of similar to like being the life instead of trying to see it. It's embodying how you want it to be, or viewing yourself in a way that you want to see the world. It's like having so much, I think I've said this before, but having like so much appreciation and love for yourself that everything around it becomes an embodiment of that love. It's about self-appreciation, and I guess it's just sort of akin to the law of attraction. So I guess I could talk about that. I kind of first figured out about the law of attraction maybe like 5 years ago. My father had given me a book called The Secret, and then I also started listening to Alan Watts meditations, which really helped me. So y'all should definitely do that as well. But essentially, it's kind of like putting yourself in the headspace of where you want to get, rather than distancing yourself from your goals in your head. Already being there, already feeling that gratitude. And I feel like I've done that in so many ways, and I'm super proud of myself for the way I've been able to kind of be delusional in a way, but like in a healthier way, I guess. Sometimes it's not healthy, sometimes it is. But I think when it pertains to our dreams, when it pertains to our passions, there are certain things in life that can get in our way. Maybe somebody says a comment. Maybe a friend doesn't support you the way you expected them to. Not saying that happened to me. My friends are all supportive. I love them. But just in general, when we kind of get thrown off our loop, like positive loop, it's about getting back and bringing your goal to yourself. Like feeling how you would feel when you got it. And there's so many books out there. I used to listen to this Earl Nightingale audio about feeling. I forgot what it was called, but essentially he goes on to say that the key is feeling, and I completely agree. It's about feeling that appreciation, feeling that gratitude, so you have more things to be grateful for. It's like practicing the feeling so you get to feel it. It's kind of, I'm trying to articulate it well, but I guess the simplest way I can put it is sort of replicating the feeling you hope to get. Feeling it early, and not in a sense like it doesn't spoil it. It's not spoiling the surprise to get excited, to be happy about your own progression, be happy about your own potential. It's one thing to be humble, but it's one thing to lower your own self-image and self-esteem by your own effort to be humble about it. And I'm not saying humble in the sense of like you're not talking about it. I think in some ways you should always be humble in that sense. But in a sense, how you feel about yourself, why not raise that through the roof? Why not feel the best about yourself that you possibly can? And I feel like it's that constant separation that kind of takes us away from those laws, takes us away from ourself and our potential. It's the dichotomy between like your future self and your present self that kind of takes us away from where we could be. This even goes with like simple stuff like doing our assignments, doing our homework, wanting to do good on tests. We often feel like our future self is going to be more prepared for some type of test, some type of arrangement than our current self. And I learned about this from one of my psychology teachers in high school, but essentially we have to stop doing that. Your future self is not going to be any more suited to do stuff just like how your past self wasn't. And in the same way that your future self isn't some like goal to find, your past self, there is no past self to overcome. Who you are right now is enough to, I feel like, make the change you need, or at least start. And as it pertains to your future self, how you want to be, how you wish to be, I don't think it's about being like, oh man, when I get here, when I get there, or I can't wait till this happens so I can experience this, or I can't wait till this happens so I can feel this. It's about being there currently. And I think once I realized this is when my life sort of started to take a turn for the better in terms of like just my overall mental health. I stopped waiting on certain life events, certain scenarios to play out in my head or in reality for me to feel happy about myself. Started appreciating what I have now. Started appreciating who I am now instead of appreciating who I have yet to become. That person doesn't exist. Especially not as long as I posit that it's not, that it's different than what I am now. Creating that separation, creating that whole nother identity takes it away. You have to add it to yourself, not make it a whole different equation. You have to keep it to yourself. Like if you want that like self-love, that self-appreciation, feeling like you're beautiful, handsome, attractive, because I feel like, we're in that era, we're in that time. All of the people watching this, you're in your 20s, late teens, even your whole life. Your external appearance and stuff like that, it weighs heavily on your internal world. But I feel like it's one of those things. The better you feel about yourself, I feel like you become more receptive to certain things. You become more readily able to communicate with people in a way that, maybe you can show the other aspects of yourself that will make you more approachable. But in my experience, I'll tie it back to my experience. I just started, literally telling myself that I love myself. And that's something I don't feel like a lot of people don't do that. Like genuinely saying it outward, making sure you can hear it. I do it every morning, every night. And I don't know if it's necessarily helped, but like over time, like it just feels like something changed. It just feels like a shift happened for me at some point where, I just became happy just being myself. And everything else started following suit. Once you find, a good couple of reasons to just enjoy life, enjoy who you are, a lot of things come your way. And I can't say for 100% certainty, I feel like, everything I say somewhat should be taken with a grain of salt. My experience is my own, but I do feel like there's a lesson to be learned here. And I feel like you can learn from the experience. Being able to attract what you are. And it's like being good to yourself. Being so good to yourself that, your mind starts to think that you're a good person that deserves it. Feeling deserving, giving yourself grace enough to feel deserving of the certain things you get. I know a lot of people who will get a lot of blessings or something will happen to them that, don't feel deserving of. And I think that somewhat blocks some of it. I think some of us are scared of appreciating. And I know what the feeling is like, and it's like something comes and you're like, oh, like, can I really be happy about this? Am I allowed to express myself? Am I allowed to be happy about this? You know, we kind of stop ourselves from that sort of like childlike nature that we used to have. You know, like when you get a gift as a kid and you're just so uppity and giddy. And I'm not saying you have to react like that, but in terms of how you feel, like it shouldn't be a suppressed thing. I feel like some people aren't happy because they're not allowing themselves to be. You know, sort of holding ourselves back from that, you know, out of fear that we look a certain way or we might be perceived a certain way or something like that. A lot of people in the comments asking like, how do you find out like what you like? It's just like being genuine, being true to yourself, understanding, you know, what makes you function, what makes you work, and how you relate to yourself, like how you relate to your circumstances, your external, and most of all, how you relate to your internal. How you relate to the, you know, the voices in your head, the voice in your head. I don't say voices. It sounds like crazy, but how you relate to the voice in your head, how you relate to everything that's around you and inside you, like your negativity, your positivity, your self-esteem, self-image. You know, how you relate to that. What is your relationship with that? How are you cultivating a relationship with that, and how are you, you know, making it better? You meditate and some stuff like that. I feel like it's each successive action that kind of contributes to this idea of like the law of attraction, or you attract what you are. Giving yourself enough, like, I think sometimes to get what we deserve, we have to feel like we deserve it. You know, you have to kind of open your head up to the possibility of it. And I think for a long time, even with this channel, and I don't know if this is 100% correlated, you know, causation doesn't mean correlation, or correlation doesn't mean causation. But as soon as I felt like appreciative of my own work, appreciative of what I was putting out there, to the point where I was like, this is good stuff. Like, I appreciate this. Or, and then I got in the headspace like, oh, like, there's potential for this to reach a lot of people and for it to help a lot of people, for it to actually make an impact. As soon as I like internalized that myself and really like understood it, like felt it, like, oh, this is gonna help. Like, even if one person watches this, I know that it helped me, so I know it has potential to help others. As soon as I got that feeling, it's like I feel it right now. As soon as I got that feeling, like it just started coming. As soon as I started feeling either A, deserving, or either B, like felt the potential, felt the possibility. To know what's humanly possible means you too could do it. I say this quote all the time, and it's about realizing that you can, realizing that you have the capability. You know, even if you don't believe in like the mystic part of the law of attraction, the religious, the spiritual part of the law of attraction, you know, how are you going to get to a goal you don't believe is there? How are you going to get to the goal if you don't believe there's a path? You know, like, you can't think you will win the race if you never run. You don't, you know, I guess so many analogies for the same thing, but the bottom line is you have to feel it. You have to feel like you can. You have to feel your own passion, feel your own happiness, feel your appreciation for what has yet to come. Sometimes you gotta appreciate life just for appreciating life's sake. Sometimes you gotta wake up in the morning. I woke up today, I'm happy about it, even if it hurts. Like today, like I'll be 100% transparent. The weekend was cool. I love the weekend. I had a great weekend, but my like health, it felt weird. I was tired and I didn't eat much. So yesterday, I woke up 6 a.m. and I was like, I'm about to get back to my grind, my routine, because I kind of got laxed on it. I kind of, it's one thing to live in the moment, but you need a reason to relax. Sometimes I feel like you need that dichotomy between I'm working and I'm having fun in order to really appreciate the fun. So, and appreciate the work too. You learn stuff either way, but I got back in the gym. I started, my same routine, and I feel great. I might be a little tired. I ate 3 square meals today, but it's just great. Being able to appreciate what you do for yourself sometimes, and it just like makes you appreciate everything else. If y'all look in the back, my plant is struggling. It hasn't seen light in so many days. There hasn't been a lot of light. I tried to get it near the window today, but it's okay. I'm hoping for the best. But if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I honestly appreciate every single one of y'all who watched this. Even if you didn't make it this far in the video, thank you. Like, I've always felt grateful. Like, I started feeling grateful before I even started getting even somewhat of a following. And I feel like that's part of it too, just being grateful for what you put out there, loving your stuff so much that everything else has to embody that love in a way, or something like that. But just thank you. Stay tuned. I think the next video I'm going to drop, because I told my friend I'll drop a video on meditation. So that'll probably be my next video. I know some of y'all thought it was going to be this one, but I apologize. This is what I felt like talking about today. I'm gonna go live again soon. And yeah, all in all, thank you guys so much. Make sure you're trying to be intentional. There's a lot of life to live, a lot of life to experience. You got to start within though. Start appreciating yourself. You'll start appreciating everything else.